This is the Under Segovia Show.
Hey everyone, it's Andres and welcome to another video. And this time I want to talk to you guys about the Unihertz Titan. I've actually been sitting on this story for some time because I did see when some other channels, particularly BlackBerry.com, started picking this up about an Android-powered, basically, BlackBerry PassPort. But I didn't dive into it so much because there wasn't enough information. I don't like the whole rumor mill stuff. No, I wanted to see more. And just a few days ago, this company Unihertz that nobody's ever heard of, they dropped a video showing the phone, I guess you could say, in action. And yeah, I guess let me show you the video, then I'll go over the device itself as to what they're supposed to be offering. So this is on their Facebook page. So you can go check out their Facebook page if you want. I guess I could even leave a link in the description down below this video, but let's check this video out.
Want to correct this screen? You're going to need a bigger ladder.
What's this next video from Jelly? One more, and then I'll skip back over. Oh, the launch day. Yeah. Alright, that's enough of that. Okay, so let's talk about this thing. Because for those of us that love QWERTY keyboards, we know when we saw this thing, we're like, oh, it's a BlackBerry PassPort. But wait a minute, what's that on top of it? It says Unihertz. And this is from ogadget.com. I don't know, there's a lot of different things here, and there's even some what looks to be Chinese lettering here, so I'm wondering if this is maybe a Chinese manufacturer dealing with this. I have my ideas of how they probably built this thing, but anyway, they go on to highlight the keyboard first and foremost. Besides the fact that it's rugged, they're saying it has a better input experience. Because they're talking about a keyboard, they have like a shift here. I believe this might be home. This is the back button, and I guess global settings of sorts. Maybe because of what they mentioned later, that it's supposed to be dual SIM capable. That's probably like a quick switch thing. I'm not entirely sure. Supposed to be ready for any situation. This is supposed to be IPS 67 water and dust proof, and they say shock proof. So based on the drop from the ladder, I'm assuming that's what they're referring to. It has an IPS LCD display, which is 1440 by 1440, so it's a 1:1 aspect ratio. For those of you, again, familiar with the BlackBerry PassPort, this is the literal same screen dimensions as that one had. And this whole red streak they have here, it's suspiciously jumping out to me that maybe there's some kind of swipe capability. Don't quote me on it. I'm just saying that's exactly the graphics that I saw on a BlackBerry PassPort. Oh, by the way, it looks like it might even have a trackpad of sorts right here in between. Again, not enough information. Alright, versatile and powerful. It's a dual SIM card, a global LTE support. It has wireless charging, fingerprint scanner, has face unlock, and NFC. So it's loaded according to everything they say here, and you can get it for as cheap as $199. Of course, I'm sure that was for early birds, but $199. So in order to have something that cheap, the first thing that jumped at me was maybe they're using the recycled parts of a BlackBerry PassPort. And I guess what lended more to my suspicions of that was that BlackBerry was able to, or Crackberry was able to get these screenshots of the Titan in comparison to the BlackBerry PassPort. I guess this was offered directly by Unihertz through some website of sorts. So when you see the comparisons in both the devices here, let me zoom in for you guys. Okay, so we have the BlackBerry PassPort, which was the first version of its kind, and not the AT&T version that I suspect they might be using. Then you have the Unihertz Titan here. The keyboard does look larger than the PassPort. Whereas this one had 3 rows, this one does 2, but the buttons do look bigger, and of course they're angled in a way of those like two-handed like long keyboards. For those of you in the workplace that are familiar with those diverged keyboards, so that's just like that V function. Then there's buttons on top, on the top of the keyboard that the PassPort didn't have because of its swipe gestures, I'm assuming. Okay, then when we see the comparisons of the CPU, the Passport was a quad-core 2.2 gigahertz CPU, and this one's supposed to be the Unihertz Titan. I'll just call it Titan from now on. It's supposed to be an octa-core 2 gigahertz. The limited carriers, yes, on the BlackBerry PassPort, the Titan has the global LTE support, and it's running Android 9.0 out of the box, versus obviously BlackBerry's proprietary system of OS 10 or 10 OS. Now, when we get to the touchscreen, they're literally the same size, 4.5 inch and 1:1 aspect ratio. This is where things get interesting. The battery on the Passport was 3,450 milliamp hours, which is pretty substantial back then. This was supposed to be 6,000. I'm assuming this must be one heck of a hefty brick. When it comes to the memory onboard storage for the Passport, was 32 gigabytes onboard storage and a 3 gigabyte RAM, and it had expandable memory. The Titan's supposed to have 128 gigabytes onboard storage and 6 gigabytes of RAM. When it comes to the camera, it's of course the numbers can say more, but we don't know who's making these cameras as of yet. The Passport had 13 megapixel front-facing autofocus camera. I mean, a rear-facing autofocus camera, and the front was a 2 megapixel fixed focus. So the Titan has a 16 megapixel autofocus camera on the back and an 8 megapixel fixed front-facing shooter. And lastly, if I remember correctly, my Black Passport had wireless charging, or maybe it was the silver edition. It's been so long, I don't have one anymore, so I can't verify that. But the original Passport supposedly didn't have wireless charging. This one does. Touch keyboard. So I was right. Those red swipes, they're saying it's a touch keyboard. I'm assuming they're trying to reuse the BlackBerry PassPort like touch capacitors. I hope to do that in a way that doesn't get them sued by BlackBerry, because yes, they both have a QWERTY keyboard, and of course the advantage this device has over the Passport and most of others is IP67 water and dust resistance. That's actually really good. But the thing is, they're saying they're charging $199 to start. I don't know, guys. That screams a lot. But here's the thing. They're saying on their website is one more day to launch day. Let's be more clear about what they're actually saying here, because what they're saying, tighten the phone for people who get it done, right? Let's see. They're saying launch day. Let's go to, what's this? This is no, it goes back to that same website I was at. All right, their screenshots here say at the bottom. Let's go back to the first picture. Kickstarter, July 30th. So their launch day is Kickstarter. That is the number one reason that I am not drawn to this device, because they're saying it's launch day and it's on Kickstarter. And for those of us that have actually dealt with devices on Kickstarter would know, you're basically trying to sponsor the manufacturing here, and you'll be lucky to get a device if they have the finances all in place. So it's not exactly that they're launching the phone. I don't think of it as a launch, but we'll know more. I'm recording this on July 29th, so we'll know more on July 30th if they're actually launching that device, and if they are they only going to the super early birds, because super early birds get it from $199. And it says limited seats, first come, first serve. And I'm assuming some might have already taken those seats, because there is apparently worldwide I guess attention. I don't know if it's demand, but there's worldwide attention for this phone. And the truth is this: when people saw of a possibility of Android running on a BlackBerry PassPort with BlackBerry 10 OS, some people say, oh, that's just the Android runtime on the Passport. But no, there was a video from South America of someone that was using the Android, I think it was 5.0, Lollipop, on a BlackBerry PassPort. It was a little wonky, because obviously it wasn't official, but that's what stirred the internet like crazy. So there was attention for a form factor like this that runs Android. Now, we did get a BlackBerry powered by Android device, but people are getting attention to this because the BlackBerry PassPort was a unique device that I feel at first was awkward, but was incredibly efficient to the touch, and use when it came to that wide keyboard. And I actually got used to the 1:1 aspect ratio. Yeah, a little awkward to find places for it because it's a very wide device, but overall, I found myself loving that phone a lot more than I thought I would going into it, because my goodness, I think it's just a weird size. But it actually just fit, and the only reason it didn't last was because it didn't have the app support, and because I didn't have Android when my business moved on to Android. So that's where it ultimately came down to spell doom for it. So this, I'm curious. I'm just waiting for July 30th to see if this is worthwhile. You know, because if it is, they're saying it's a very cheap price. I mean, I don't know how much to believe, but that's interesting. So that's basically all I got to say about that. I don't know if you guys seen it on your radar, but those are my immediate thoughts on it. I'm assuming they're recycling some of the old BlackBerry PassPorts and just upgrading some of the CPUs inside, or some of the chipset, so they can bring it up to stuff and run Android on it. But I don't know. Is it an officially licensed Android, or are we going to... It shows the BlackBerry, I mean the oh my goodness, I just get all these devices mixed up. It shows the Google Play Store on the screen there. So I'm assuming they have a license instead of having a download illegal apps, you know. So I don't know. But because I don't know who these people are that are behind the company, I don't know if I'll be able to trust it outright with security and all that. Because security is a reason for this guy. So it's not just the keyboard. It's about security. But anyway, those are my immediate thoughts. If you didn't hear about these guys, you heard it here first, I guess. So it's Unihertz, the company. The device is called a Titan, and it's supposed to be launching July 30th on Kickstarter. You can learn more about it, I guess, by going to titan.ogadget.com. They did not sponsor me in any way. I've just been really curious, and Crackberry just posted about it, I believe, Friday or Saturday. So that's when I'm like, okay, now they have something more to show, like the phone being abused to show how rugged it is. So we'll see. I mean, let's hope it's legit. I hope it's legit. But if they're going to use the same touch capacitor, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if BlackBerry sues them. I mean, look what happened to that Typo keyboard that Ryan Seacrest was sponsoring for the iPhones that they ended up getting sued for. So, yeah. But anyway, that's it for this video. Let me know your thoughts on this device if you already looked into it. And are you interested in getting one? Just share your thoughts below. I'm really curious. And I'm going to do a follow-up video about the BlackBerry PassPort, the BlackBerry Key 2 in the second quarter or the second half of 2019. So I'll share my thoughts about that in that video. So that means until next time, I'll see you on the next video.